What's up, tribe? How you guys doing? Go ahead and hit that subscribe button, and I hope you like this video. This is Cartel Crew Season 3, Episode 6. Listen, we are here. It is the wedding weekend for Marie and Michael, and they have rented out this beautiful mansion, and everybody is arriving to the mansion, and of course, they arrive in style, honey, in a Rolls Royce. And everything is beautiful. Like, everybody's happy, everybody looks good, everybody's in great spirits. It's just beautiful. The house is absolutely gorgeous. Their wedding planner is there to make sure that everything is everything. Listen, this was beautiful. I mean, the house, the pool, everything was just absolutely beautiful. We find out, they show us a little clip where everybody's there except for Diana. You know, remember at the end of last episode, Michael told Marie Diana can come, but her man can't because they don't know him like that. He got a bad reputation. Michael don't want no parts of that at his wedding, which I 100%, I was stood behind him, and I was with him on it 120%. So we see when Marie went back to Diana and said, listen, you can come, but he can't. And Diana was like, well, I ain't coming then. And Marie was like, are you sure? And Diana said, I absolutely am sure. She said, so let me just get this straight. You're going to not come to one of your best friend's weddings because your man can't stay at the mansion for the weekend? Mind you, he can come to the wedding. He just can't come to the mansion and stay with us for the weekend. But it is what it is. Diana says, that's my man. I'm sticking by him, and no, I ain't coming. So Marie feels some kind of in her feelings, and she's taking it as not just a slight against her and her wedding, but she's taking it as a slight against all of them, which y'all know I don't like when they you know, I'm giving you the fact that Diana's not coming, and I feel like that's kind of messed up. But we can't take that and turn it into Diana has offended the whole world, because she has not. And you know, we know that women make these decisions all the time for whatever their reasons are. So it is what it is. Now, all of the rooms have different themes, and different people are rooming with different people. Kat has a room all to herself down in a secluded area, which I thought was real shady, because I was like, what y'all trying to say? Y'all gonna try to say that she might need some privacy because Eddie might come creeping? But neither here nor there. Betty and Nicole are rooming together, and we find out that this is like the 1-year anniversary of her sister's death. And she says, listen, it's hard for me, but I'm here. I'm trying to not let myself go to that place, and I'm gonna be here. And let me tell y'all something. As someone who has lost a sibling, and I didn't lose a sibling to violence. I mean, my brother, he died. He was sick. He died. But it was sudden. And I know on the 1-year anniversary of his death, the 1-year anniversary of his birthday, certain things that me and him like to do, it is very triggering. So I am not going to lessen Betty's pain through this process, because it is very triggering. I can appreciate that she said, listen, I need this week. I need to keep my mind off of everything, and so this will be a good opportunity for me to like blank out. Then of course they have to talk to Kat about how she feel about Eddie being here, and she was like, girl, I'm not really happy about it. I'm not comfortable with it, but it is what it is. You know, we're gonna have to make it happen. So then we see the guys get dressed in their best old school mafioso, you know, fedoras, suits, you know, Cuban cigars. And let me tell you something. They looked good. They absolutely looked good. The theme was Michael's last hurrah. They had a whole poster up. They had the cigar girls handing out, you know, the cigars. And we saw some of Michael's other friends outside of the people that are on the show. We saw his manager was there. I think Magic's brother was there. Another one of his friends. They all look good. Let me tell you something. Them some fine brothers. And you know, I love to see a man clean up, okay? I love when they put on their suits and they clean up, okay? And they were absolutely beautiful. And it was listen, I was here for all of it. I was here for it, okay? And of course, you know what went down. The shenanigans went down. Of course, they had to talk to him about, you ready for this? You're going to cross over. And Michael, listen, let me tell you what I love about Michael. Michael has never had any problem saying who he was in love with. He has never had any problem saying that is my woman. I love her. I got her. She got me. I know we had this whole prenup situation, which whatever. But because y'all know I don't care about nobody asking nobody for no prenup. But I was here for it. And then of course, you know, we had to get the scrippers. You know, the girls that was handing out the cigars, they were really the scrippers, and so we had a whole scripper situation, and they had plenty of money, and they was throwing the money, and it was great. Now, on the flip side, the ladies, the contrast was so in your face that it really sort of made me feel some kind of way about it, because I was like, the women were total trash. And I don't mean that in a bad way. It was the theme. You know, the theme was like lingerie. I think it was like heaven and hell kind of thing. So they were all in lingerie, and, you know, of course, all their body parts was hanging out. Hell, whatever Nicole had on, they couldn't even show it. They had to blur it out because I guess it showed her nipple or something like that. I think Kat too. I think it was either Kat or Stephanie. Whatever she had on, they had to blur it out. So I'm like, when you see the guys and they're so dressed up and they're so, you know, clean, and then you saw the ladies, I was like, okay. But I wasn't mad about it because remember, the ladies had their tea party the week before where they were all prim and proper and dressed up and all that good stuff. So it's whatever. And listen, it was her bachelorette party. So if she want to be, you know, lingerie and slutty, she could be lingerie and slutty. And they had male strippers, and, you know, Marie is bisexual. So they had female strippers too. And so they had a good time. The guys had a good time. I thought it was a great, great, great moment for all of them, right? So the next morning, of course, everybody is hungover, child. Everybody is hungover the next morning. The ladies walking around with sunglasses on. They said Michael came home at 2 in the morning and wanted to get in the pool. And he kept yelling, pool time, pool time. And they were like, it was funny. Because what you can tell is that these are genuine friends. So they were doing stuff that you do on vacation with each other. They are comfortable with each other. They are having fun with each other. The fact that was like a whole joke when Michael came home. I'm assuming that's when they got home. But at some point in the middle of the night, Michael decided it was pool time. And he said that they got in the pool. The guys got in the pool. And they were like, what'd you do in the pool? He was like, what didn't we do in the pool? So they must have had a whole nother party down to the pool, which they didn't film. And I was fine with that, you know. Because some of this stuff, again, you can tell because they have their real friends coming in that this is a real situation that they're just filming, right? So, of course, they've got, you know, the chefs there and they got the food laid out and, you know, all that good stuff, right? Nicole, it was an awkward conversation because Nicole brings up the whole stripper thing and she was like, Marie looked like she was more excited about the female stripper than the male strippers. They were like, are you sure you're not gay? Are you bisexual? Marie was like, listen, I am bisexual, but I love Michael and that is what I want and that is what it is. And so they were like, well, would you ever consider bringing a third party in? And she was like, absolutely not. She was like, actually, that's how me and Michael met. Now, if you go back to season 1, they talked about how they met. Marie was dating a woman. She brought Michael in to do like a whole threesome situation. Marie and Michael ended up together. Like, that's the short version of the story. And so I guess because of how that whole thing went down, Marie was like, I ain't no damn fool. I ain't bringing no third party into this because I know how I got him. Okay, the way you get him, the way you lose him. You know what I'm saying? So while this is going on and the ladies are talking, the guys have moved into a separate area. And again, you can always tell when shit gets real when they break the fourth wall. So they're sitting there filming and, you know, of course, talking about being married and how great things were last night. And Eddie's talking about his girl, whose name is also Kat, remember. And he's saying how he's kind of nervous to bring her around, how, you know, she's not about this life. Like, she's real green. She don't know nothing about gangster life and drug dealing. And you know, all of us have a connection in some way, shape, or form to that cartel lifestyle. And how she just don't. And then when you add the element of Kat and his history with, you know, Cat Baby to the situation, it just adds a whole nother layer. And so then the phone rings and it's her. And of course they're joking him about that, like, oh, there she is right there. That's her talking. Okay, I mean, that's her calling you. Well, there was an active shooter at the mall. And again, this was on the news. This was a real situation. And she's calling him from the mall, letting him know she's there. The guy's walking around the mall shooting. And of course, she is scared. Crazy scared. So Eddie immediately is like, I gotta go. And because when he answered the phone, he said, hey, babe, I'm doing a scene. Let me call you back. So again, you know. And he immediately was like, I gotta go. And production was trying to tell him, you know, you don't need to go. That's a dangerous situation. He was like, I'm not crazy. I'm not going to run in the mall, but I need to be there. Like, when she comes out, she needs to see me. Like, she needs to see a familiar face. Like, I'm going to find out what's going on. And, you know, basically he was like, how do I get out of here? Like, either y'all going to take me there or I'm going to get there. But I'm going to get there. So when production goes to let the ladies know what's going on, of course, all of the ladies' response was like, oh my gosh, oh my gosh, oh my gosh. Kat was like, I mean, what's the big deal? Pass me the eggs. I'm still eating my breakfast. And everybody reacted except for Kat. I have mixed feelings on that situation. I think some of it is because that is Kat's affect. If you go back, that was one of the things that Eddie complained about, was that she was so flatlined. She didn't have any passion. She didn't have that, you know, and for her to not understand where everybody else was coming from. And her response later on was, well, I mean, when you've dealt with trauma, like I've literally seen a person shot in the head right in front of me and die. When I was a kid, you know, my dad was murdered. Me and my mom were kidnapped. And like, you know, like she was like, I've been through some shit. So I get it, but I'm sorry that my reaction wasn't what everybody else's reaction was. Eddie gets to the mall. He's talking to her. I mean, of course, it was real dramatic. He's talking to her. He gets to the mall, and by that time, she's out of the mall, and, you know, they embrace. And, you know, again, if that were me, if that were me, outside of calling my mama, I'm calling my man. Like, I'm definitely calling my mom and my dad. You know what I'm saying? But I'm going to call my man. And no, it's not like, you know, Eddie is, you know, Rambo. I think somebody said something about Eddie being Rambo. And if the cameras weren't on him, he might have tried to do something a little deeper. You know what I'm saying? But it worked out. Thank God it worked out. And he actually, you know, he came back to the house to finish filming. But then Betty gets upset with Kat because Betty is like, they have a whole conversation about guns, and guns don't kill people, people kill people. And, you know, again, Betty is already sensitive because of what's going on, the anniversary of her sister's death, and the fact that it was gun violence, and it was senseless gun violence that did it. That was a whole trigger for her. So now Betty is having a full-on meltdown, and she's like ready to leave because she's like, I can't be around Kat right now. Like, I can't believe that she doesn't care. I can't believe that her whole affect is so blasé about it, and it really was bothering Betty. So now Kat is like, well, damn, like, I don't mean to be cold, but honestly, like, she really could not seem to find the emotion that everybody wanted her to have. Like, she just didn't have it, you know? And again, like I said, that's been conversations before when her and Eddie were dating last season. And he said, listen, like, you don't have no passion. Like, you're not giving me nothing. So Marie tries to talk to Betty, and everybody tries to talk to Betty. Betty's up in her room, you know, having a moment, right? And after all of this is over with, Mike has set up a spa day for the ladies. So the ladies go and they get to their spa day. They get massages, and Marie ended up getting an anal bleach, which I didn't even know that was a thing. Yeah, I didn't know anal bleaching was a thing, but, you know, and it was funny because Marie was like, I don't want my butt out on camera. Like, she was so conscious of the filming part of it, again, breaking the fourth wall. So then there was a conversation between Kat, I want to say it was Kat and Stephanie. I'm not sure if it was exactly Kat and Stephanie, but I feel like it was Kat and Stephanie. And they were talking about Eddie being there, and you know, all that good stuff about Eddie. And Kat was saying how uncomfortable she felt. She was like, this is the first time I've really been around him, and it's just so many memories, good, bad, and different. You know, we've been co-parenting, but you know, I drop off the baby, I pick the baby up. Like, we're in a better space, but we don't really associate with each other. And Magic comes along and she starts talking, and I think somebody was like, well, why did you and Eddie break up? And she was just like, you know, he was a good guy, but just the way he treated me when we got angry, when, you know, and Magic is gonna come along and be like, well, I mean, I heard you wasn't no angel yourself. First of all, that was so out of left field and so out of nowhere. Second of all, that was not your conversation. Third of all, why would you say that? Like, and like Kat said, well, in any relationship, there are ups and downs. Like, none of us are perfect in our relationships. Like, I don't even understand where this is coming from. You know, where's this energy coming from, sir? So then, of course, that pissed Kat off, and that put her in a whole nother space. So now she goes down to her room, and she's off, you know, having a full breakdown. And again, now we have the tears. Now she is in a full-on breakdown. She is crying uncontrollably, and this is one of those moments where I feel like she didn't want the cameras. They were trying to talk to her. She didn't want to do it on camera. She didn't want to like film a scene. And Stephanie was trying to talk to her. And she kept telling Stephanie, I want to be by myself. I want to be alone. I want to be alone. I want to be alone. Please leave me alone. And Stephanie kept trying to talk to her and even went in the room. And when, you know, when Kat saw the cameras, she was like, no, like, close the door. Like, what are you doing? And so then we could hear her talking because, of course, Stephanie still has on her battery pack or mic, and so we can hear the conversation. And basically, again, Kat doesn't really want to talk about it, but the conversation basically is about, like, it's just too much. Like, the feelings with Eddie, being around Eddie, it's just too much. And I think part of it was seeing Eddie respond the way he responded for another woman and do what he did for another woman. I think that shit hit home. And I don't think she had anything personal against the other woman. It's about Eddie and her feelings and how she feels. Anyway, that was it. That's all. Y'all let me know what y'all think. Drop it in those comments. Peace.